Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you. I hope you are having a wonderful time. This is a wonderful, wonderful Saturday morning here in Ontario. Ontario, Canada, if you will. Now, my title today is just simply how to spread global wealth and generate free energy. And I kind of prepared my hangouts for about 10 days from here on out with the exact same title. It seems like the title really doesn't change much when it is when we're basically staying on the same objective anyways, right? If we tell people how good TBC is, what all you can do with cryptocurrency, how much better it is than the banking system or than cash, you don't really get far into people's hearts until you have been able to show them that there is indeed some sort of freedom, some sort of that there is indeed something to be gained by it. Just flashing a little a little batch of $5 bills or $10 bills or whatever in front of somebody, all we're really doing is we're raising their how should we say, their the question in their mind, what's behind it, what obviously what's the catch. Obviously there's a catch. If you're gonna flash some free money in front of me, then what they want to know is what's behind it. What's behind it? Because nobody just goes and throws out a free gift at you. When a person is in a prison, and I'm going to say it this way, if a person is born in prison and they've never known the free world, matter of fact, never even knew that a free world exists out there, do you think that they're going to try to break out of prison when they have not the slightest clue that they're in one? Obviously not. Matter of fact, they might even be afraid to to leave the only life that they've ever known. So what is our job as TVCians, if you will? What is our job? Now, maybe friends and family and people who know us really well, that we have have a sort of a tab on each other lives, as it were. Um, we we might be able to as we talk now and then, but all the masses out there that we don't have any connection with, well, some kind of a connection needs to be established with them by somebody in TBC, unless, of course, they end up, coming across TBC the way I did, which is I haven't heard of many people having come into TBC that way. I think I did hear of one other person. I believe Paul Fisher, if I remember correctly, because I've been on a few of his hangouts. I believe that he also found TBC without somebody telling him, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not exactly sure, but it seems to me that that is what I have heard him say. But if that is the case, then he is the only other person I know that that didn't find out about TBC through a friend or somebody else who was already involved in TBC. So very few people are finding it by not without having been led to it by somebody. Now, of course, these live broadcasts that we're doing here, I think that we definitely are reaching many people with these broadcasts. Also, I believe that what was I going to say? I forget. My thought just somehow dropped. Yeah, I believe that many people, because of all these hangouts, are going to randomly run into the videos that we're making. So as the volume of these videos increases, well, so will people who run across them, and as a result, find them interesting because of what we're talking about, and what our goals and aims are, what we as TBC people owners, as people, TBC owners, as to what some of our plans are, which, by the way, I believe that we do well to give that very careful consideration. The reason I say that is because in the smoke and mirror system, which is the only life we've ever known before, when money is to be spent, when people want funding for something, they they have to build their sort of their audience, their agenda, their, you know, their the bill that they what they want to achieve, what it's supposed to do, and how it helps people, yada yada yada, and then present it to whatever level of government official, I mean. And then of course, you know, eventually it gets voted on, and before you know it, you are with your tax money that you're paying, uh, before you know it, you are supporting something that is entirely a kind of like a throat cut situation, where what you are actually supporting with your tax money is it kills you, as it were, because it's supporting you know, abortion or you know, life destructive agendas. Okay, now this is where I am I'm cautioning us as TBC owners that before we just throw a lot of TBC out there to, you know, thinking that we are supporting something, it doesn't matter how beautiful that cloak is. What we need to know is what's inside, what is the core of what we're supporting. Let us just remember the entire system is built on the smoke and mirror system. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing that we have been lured into. Well, most of us born into, actually all of us, but it's the cloak that is, you know, that this wolf is wearing is that of helping humanity, doing the best for you. Yeah, we're doing the, you know, we're how because people get ideas. People get ideas. And where do many of these ideas come from? Do you think that the so-called Illuminati, or whoever, whatever you want to call them, the cabal, the elite, the banking cartels, do you think that they are just you know, how should I say it, for people that are living on some obscure island that nobody knows about, and from there they are pulling the strings of all the governments, and that's how the money just gets forked over there somehow, fly over with a huge plane and drop the skids of money on the island, and you know, where that is how the world gets drained. Let's zoom out a little bit more and get a clearer picture. These people are among us everywhere. They're among us everywhere. You could learn quite a bit by going online and finding out what that means when people go like this. Okay, what does that mean? You know, they stick their hand partially under the shirt, as I just showed you. What does that mean? Do you have any idea what that means? If you don't, I encourage you to just do some research and see what that means. What are these people up to, and what is their agenda? Now, let me just before things seem to get too negative, and before we give more power than is due to these people, let me just remind ourselves that their agenda has been knocked off track now for quite a few years, and they are in a panic to regain the control. But let's picture it this way. There's a genie. It's in a lamp. It's in one of those old oil lamps. If you have any idea what I'm talking about and how that might look like. This genie pops out of the lamp. This genie is so big that it practically fills the skies. And you try to stuff it back into that lamp. You know, it's not going to be possible to do that. Now, not by viewing it the way we are picturing it. If the genie is so big that it fills the sky for everybody to see, and everybody has seen this genie, the only way that genie is going to go back into that lamp is by using the cloak of working with everybody, working with the people to destroy this genie. As a cloak, but inside, actually, they're infiltrating to regain that control. Guys, there is a verse in the Bible that talks about being harmless as doves and wise as serpents. Being harmless as doves and wise as serpents. How wise is a serpent? We must understand what's on the inside. We must understand what's in the inside. And for those who have never learned to read energy of other people, you need to learn that. You need to learn the energy, because when you know how to read energy and trust your instincts, a wolf in sheep's clothing cannot deceive you, because you can feel the energy. You can feel the energy right now by watching this video. You can feel my energy. you can feel the energy that I am telling you, that it pays to be wise. It pays to be very, very well educated. Not the education that not the education that the system provides, but the education that comes with the longing for truth on the inside. When you are open, when you open your mind to truth, that the truth is what you are after, and that the truth, you are confident that the truth is what will come to you and you will understand it. You are on the path to amazing understanding. There is a verse also in the Bible that says that God never tempteth and cannot be tempted. No, it cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. When there is some organization or somebody is coming to you, thinking that you have, quite a bit of means to support something, and they come to you with the most beautiful sheep, cloak of a sheep, you've got to understand what is underneath that. You have to understand that. all of, excuse me, all of our lives, we have been we have been subjected to a smoke and mirror system, a society, as it were, that believed in a false excuse me, a society that was basically tuned into a false concept. We have to, in wisdom, overcome that. We must be able to clearly see what the smoke and mirror system is, or what's underneath it, which is the actual surface of life, and the that exists in reality. Now, life and reality will never change, and will also never interact with a fake layer. This is why the concept of civilization was invented. If you don't really understand the word civilization, well, let me just give you a very brief understanding about that. I hear people very easily and very openly use that word civilize or civilization. Do you know what that means? Civilization means that it means that excuse me, that the people have been lifted off the land so as to not be in touch with reality, and have been put into a containment field and are being traded on the marketplace as cattle. Folks, that is, in a nutshell, what civilization means. Are you still civil? Are you still part of civilization? So if you if you want more understanding about that, I would say do an in-depth research for the exact meaning of civilization. Now, let me also tell you this, that the English language has been used worldwide to enforce law for all the courts and all that. That doesn't mean that in every country that they speak English in the court, but it is the English language that has been used to establish all of the court systems. And why is that? It's because the entire global economy is under the control of the British Empire. Not actually the British Empire so much as it is just a 1 mile square piece of the city of London where the Lord Mayor of London lives. Even the Queen of England has to have permission to enter that part of London. From there, everything is controlled because every country is registered to that, you know, that little block of where the Lord Mayor is. That is why we have global civilization. You know, this system that has been put together over the period of thousands of years needs to be completely dismantled. Do I say that correctly? Dismantled? Dismantled. Needs to be completely dismantled and restructured to have so that the power is back in the hands of the people. Not some hierarchy. Not some hierarchy. Just simply the people. Nobody in creation is above anybody else. We are all equal on the level of creation, all of us. But when we follow a system of trickery and we believe the false the false beliefs that are being fed to us, then we are being lifted off the land. You can no longer create because you are no longer in touch with nature. And that's how it will be. That's how people become subject to a false system. Okay, so my subject line is how to spread global wealth and generate free energy. Both of those actually very interrelate as far as the way it looks to me to each other in regards to spreading wealth globally. Now, what is it with my throat this morning? Now, I'll actually take a sip of water here. Right, wealth. Now, when we want to spread wealth globally, obviously our intention is to give the power back to the people. That is the only way that global wealth can happen, is that the power of the hierarchy is dismantled by having the wealth spread out to the people. Now, this is never possible, if we have a system that can be controlled by any hierarchy, because their control is what makes everyone else subject. Okay, so if we have this idea that we're going to have a global wealth system where everybody is wealthy, and we're still under the guns of the powers that shouldn't be, that is not global wealth. What am I saying? I'm saying that what we are working on is likely bigger than what we might just give it thought up front. That's what I'm saying. Because let me just assure you that the panic is on and has been for a few years. And until we have spread the wealth globally, until we have achieved very, very much of our goal, the fight is going to be on pretty big. That's why I'm saying, or why I'm reminding us of the verse that says that we are harmless as doves, but wise as serpents. Let's build each one within ourselves the full confidence that we are on a mission that we can achieve. And let's ground back to nature, where civilization has removed us from. Let's ground back. No longer believe in some false layer, in some false up there somewhere, that the power is up there, and we are here begging for it to come down because we don't have. We need to understand it is right here. It's right here on the level of all of creation. We are endowed with that power. It's within us. We are the creators. When we understand this, we have the power to move forward, and we will have the confidence to move forward. Spreading the wealth of TBC needs to bring with it an understanding. First of all, it needs a wake up as to what kind of a smoke and mirror system we've been operating in all these years. Like I mentioned earlier, a person will not look for a way out of prison if he doesn't know that he's in one. So once we understand, once we have a relationship with people, with someone who is still not understanding, we must approach it very gently. So don't just dangle a bunch of cash in front of them and say, okay, well, or TBC, as it were, and say, I got, for some people that might work. And if it does, great. Maybe it's easy, and maybe they'll gain that understanding afterwards, which most of it will have to be afterwards anyways. Because it doesn't just happen overnight that you know, somebody tells you something in the evening saying that, you know what, we live in kind of a smoke and mirror system, and it's, you know, everything is kind of false. We don't really understand, and we need to wake up from it. And so they go to bed, and you know, they go to bed and they sleep, and in the morning they wake up and clearly see everything how it is, and just move on from there. Unless I'm extremely odd person, because the way it came to me was with a lot of learning and a lot of, you know, understanding it piece by piece by piece. As we gain the understanding, that is when we begin to realize how the system works. We begin to realize that we do have connection, but we've got to change our beliefs in order to understand it. Okay. So once we do, and we build relationships with people to where they understand enough that at least they do get into TBC, and then we can encourage them to, you know, to read the blog or study the blog and gain their understanding. You know, we work together. We work together. We work together. You know, when you bring somebody into TBC, you've worked enough, you've convinced them, and you don't just then just drop them and move on. We work together. You know, work together. Keep getting to know each other better. Now, those of you who are watching this maybe just happen to come across it on YouTube. You've never heard of TBC before. You've never heard of the free energy units before. Well, that is what this is really about. It is about, it's actually, what it's really about is helping people. That's what it's really about, is helping all of us to regain the connection with reality and with the creation that we had lost. And at the same time become wealthy and free, you know, free to do with our time what we love, free to, you know, to actually experience life with joy, with confidence, with happiness every day, just a day of true happiness, you know, connection with reality. And that's really what it's about. And get wealthy at the same time, and get rid of all of those heating bills, energy bills, all the pollution that is being generated by generating free energy, clean up the environment, clean up the planet. Uh, Guys, we have so much work to do. We have so much work to do. And you know what? All those wars, that's all going to disappear too. It'll all disappear. People will begin to realize that this world was way bent, way out of shape, you know? So the more of our energy that we spend connecting with reality and with creation, the more people we will reach. Did you know that your thoughts, they go out and they don't come back empty? There's another verse in the Bible. Cast your bread upon the waters, and it shall not return void. Something like that. Maybe I haven't read it for too long now. But the words that you speak, The thoughts that you think, they are alive. They are alive. And they exist on the invisible plane. And they bring back into your life. So let's be careful what we say. Don't go telling yourself that you are poor. Don't go telling yourself that you don't have. Don't go telling yourself that you can't reach other people. Don't go telling yourself that you're not able to create connections with other people. All of those things will immensely disempower you, because you say those things. Now it's live on the creative level in the universe and comes back into your life and brings exactly back to you what you've been saying. If you want to be healthy, say it. Think it and say it, that you are healthy. If you want to be wealthy, say it and think it, that you are wealthy. As soon as you do that, now it exists on the spiritual level. And it will bring back in a creative way, come back into your life and create what you're saying. But you don't go and say it and then next thing you go and cancel it out by saying the opposite. We have to train our subconscious mind and say it and do it enough, think it and say it enough till the subconscious picks it up. Then it takes root. Okay? Then it takes root and produces the fruit that we're looking for. Okay? So for those of you who are watching this video and have been in TBC for a while, you probably just kind of thought that TBC was, yeah, they had some difficulties and it'll never amount to anything, forget it, plus all the negative stuff on Facebook that you might have been reading and stuff. Guess what? I have news for you. I have news for you. TBC is back. Actually, it never left. But we have a new system. We created a new system from the ground up and made it robust and fast. You can now come back, set your account in order. If it's not, the $10 fee, it's all it takes. And if you got a gift of 50,000 or 100,000 Kringles before, you are sitting on quite a bit of wealth, which is going to disappear on you if you don't act and get your migration in order and migrate to the new, get your account in order and migrate to the new blockchain. And that wealth will be ready for you to spend. Okay. Now, we have many very, very good things coming up with TBC. A platform. I've been talking about this, and it is still a little bit away, I suppose. In February is when I will be at Anarchapulco, and there we will discuss with programmers and so on as to what we are going to put together. And it would be nice to have a bunch of us people who are in TBC, if we could put together ideas of all of the things that we would need on this platform. Now, I'm going to come out with a proposal soon, and I will let you people know, and then I will invite your comments and your input as to whatever your thoughts are about it. Okay, so this is it'll be in the next week or so that that I'm going to write a blog post about it. So it may take 2 weeks because a lot of thought is going to go into it. All right. So these are some of the things that are coming up. And I know that the other day I was mentioning it, and from what I noticed in the chat, I think there was a bit of a misunderstanding as to what I was really talking about. But I believe that when you see that blog post, when you read that, it will give you a fairly clear picture as to what it really is that I'm talking about, right? So that is one thing that that we're definitely going to be setting in motion. Also, the free energy units, which is already, like I've said before, for people who would like to top up their TBC more, well, this would be a perfect opportunity to support the free energy project, because we are in need of fiat money at this point. We could use more fiat money to get the project rolling, and I am replacing it of my own TBC 100%. Okay, so if there is people who would like to help in the project, I am replacing it with 100% of TBC. So instead of just buying TBC, that is one route you can. That's one way that you can help support the project. Okay. All right. So again, well, let's go see who's all here. Steve and Coffee, thank you very much. You know what? I have been missing out on yours. It seemed like every day I was out doing something that I just wasn't able to attend yours. I don't know if it's appropriate for me to say I'm sorry, because I mean, yeah, I do miss that, but sometimes we're just got too many things to do that we can't be on all of them. But I really appreciate you still coming to mine, and as soon as it suits me, I will be on yours as well, Stephen. So thank you very much for being with me here. Marjorie Harder, thank you also very much for being with me this morning. And then we got Joe Stevens. Thank you very much for being with me. It's likely very late where you are. And so Pedro, Crypto Review as well. Thank you very much for hanging out with me this morning. Who, Pedro? Okay. Jules Ann, again, thank you very much for hanging out with me as well. Dr. Joe. A Madlock, thank you also. Thank you very much. I don't believe I've ever been on your channel. It would be nice to, if you type in the chat which slot you have, I will try to make it onto your channel as well. Thank you very much. Joe Stevens. And then we got Romeo. Thank you also very much for hanging out with me this morning.
Oh, he's doing it at 3 p.m.
Romeo?
Yeah.
Oh, today?
Probably his first one.
All right. Yeah, well, I'll try to be on it. Okay, so, and who else? Anybody else here? Mahalko 88 as well. Thank you. Thank you very much for being with me this morning. I really appreciate it. And Stephen Coffee. I think that's got all of them. Thank you very much, guys. I try to be on other people's channels. It doesn't always work out for me, but and I'm sure you understand that. But I truly do appreciate you being here. All right, 3 p.m. is broadcast, and your slot on Kringle's Cash is. Yeah, I know it's Romeo, but what is your slot on the Kringles cash? Okay. All right. Well, or your channel. I think he emailed me his channel. I think he did that. Yeah. All right. I'll find you, Rumi. That's no problem. Okay. So thank you ever so much for hanging out with me this morning, and I'll be watching for you. All right. So you have a wonderful day, or evening, or morning, or whatever it is for you, and peace.